Okay, so a very good evening once again. This is Ajay Parmar. So today, dear students, we like to do an automation where I like to go and copy the chart from Excel, and I like to go and paste this chart uh, on the PowerPoint. Right now, first of all, in this lecture, I'll only teach you how you can go and copy one chart. Right, but once you have the understanding that how this all uh, uh, automation works, what are the PowerPoint classes we are going to use, and how we are going to use their classes properties and methods, then further we can go and talk about those scenarios where we have to go and copy maybe multiple charts. Okay, there can be lot of different situations here. Like you can maybe tomorrow you would say that okay, I now understand this, so now I want to copy four charts and I want to paste all four charts in one slide, or maybe in four slides, right? So concept should be clear. Now you see guys, the thing is that this is your Excel, right? And because we are going to use the Excel VBA, you must understand that PowerPoint is a different application, right? So PowerPoint is a different application, and here you have the Excel, right? Here you have the Excel. So both these objects are different, right? This is Excel and this is PowerPoint. Now, if I have to connect this Excel with PowerPoint, why I have to connect? Because in Excel, I have actually graph, correct? And that graph, I like to go and copy and paste that on the PowerPoint using Excel VBA, right? So VBA should actually know, Excel VBA should know that there is an external application which we want to go and work with, right? So that when that external application is understood by Excel VBA, we can go and check the PowerPoint classes, right? Because PowerPoint is a different topic, you know that, right? In PowerPoint we have the slides, correct? In the slides, then you can go and paste the charts or shapes or tables, whatever, right? So it means we want to go and see that what are the classes in the PowerPoint. But those classes in the PowerPoint we can use once we our Excel VB knows that okay, there is some PowerPoint. There is somebody whose name is PowerPoint. And then I want to go and meet that person. And I want to know about that person. I want to know what is the name of that person. I want to know what are the eating habits of that person. I want to know where he or she works, in that way. Okay, so that's why this is the first step in this the programming which we do, that we go and find out there is a Microsoft PowerPoint library. Okay, this is all sorted, right? If you're a Python programmer or you have used any other programming language, there we basically import the libraries. But in VBA, we don't import the libraries. I mean, we don't write import word and then any language. Sorry, the library. Here, what we do is we simply go and find out that particular library, like PowerPoint library. We have to go and find it out. It's all alphabetically sorted. Yeah, there we go. So this library, I will just say okay, and then you have to go back and see is this library activated or not, right? So in case if you do not know any other language, it's fine, but I know that a lot of my students on this channel, they always say that please upload the videos on Python, and I have uploaded a lot of content on Python, but it's in Hindi till date. So then you must know that if let's say there is a library in Python which is called pandas, so in the that Python, we go and import this library in this way, import pandas. And then the panda library gets imported, and then we can use the pandas, the methods, the functions, whatever we have in that library. Okay, so that's why this is the main purpose of the library. Why actually we want to go and import it, or especially in Excel VB, we want to go in the tool reference and just say check mark. Okay, so here I simply write paste graph. Okay, now you see that here if I go in the tool in the reference, just to make sure that I have got the library activated, you can see the library here. According to your Excel version, this 16.0 can be 15.0, 14.0, 12.0. Okay, this code will not have any challenges. Okay, this code will not have any challenges. if you are making this code in the higher version and the other person either is using the same version or the lower version, then there will be no problem, right? Otherwise, there is another workaround. In case if I'm creating this in 14.0 and somebody is using the higher version, then you just directly can't use it. There is a way of doing that. Okay, so I'll just brief you about this after the training session. Okay, so first of all, the thing is that we want that the first thing which you go and say that, because you see you need the PowerPoint, so you have to go and create your own object name, right? Let's say we call this as PPT, as PowerPoint dot application, and then you will go and create this. You will go and create this. So I say equals to new PowerPoint dot application, and then we will make that object visible. Okay, now if you somehow, I don't know, my keypad, the N alphabet is not working, I have to press it hard. Anyways, you see the thing is that this line basically creates the PPT. In reality, this line only tells that okay, we want this object, we want a PPT which should be considered as PowerPoint application, or you can say just a PowerPoint, but this is the line which actually creates the object. Okay, if you don't write this line has no sense. Okay, so here when I run the program, let me show you. When I run the program, you see that in the background we will have a PPT. Okay, see, I'm running this. If you don't make the PPT visible, it is fine, you can do that, but when you're going to practice, when you're going to do the debugging, obviously you want that this should actually, I mean, whenever you are running this code, you should be able to see everything, isn't it? Like, for example, right now, I really want to see this PowerPoint. See, the PowerPoint is created. Now, I know that you will say, oh, this is totally blank. Of course, this is blank because now the next part is we have to go and add the presentation over here. Okay. See, guys, the thing is that because this is a PowerPoint, so you must understand that PowerPoint also has its own VBA. Okay. And there also we have a hierarchy, object hierarchy. Okay, and obviously PowerPoint hierarchy is different from Excel VBA hierarchy, or I say Excel. Like for example, whenever you work with VBA, in VBA, whenever you have to, let's say, pick some data, let's say from this sheet, you have to pick this data, right? How do you go? First, there is a workbook, right? After the workbook, there is a sheet, and then after the sheet, there is a table, there is a range basically, right? So first we have a bigger object, workbook, and then we have sheet, and then we have cell or range, whatever we want to call it, or maybe table, right? I'm just giving you the kind of the basic understanding. Same way in the PowerPoint, we have first of all PowerPoint application which we have created, right? After the PowerPoint, then we will say, okay, I want a presentation now, because I want to go inside the presentation. Then you will go and, if you need the slides, then you will go and say that I want the slide. Okay. And then after the slide, of course, there are other objects also, like shape is there. Okay. So, I mean that we will not talk about all that. So the point is that once you have created a PPT visible, the next step for you is that now we want to go and add the presentation. So I just go and define this as press, PRES, and PowerPoint dot presentation. Okay, see these words when I'm writing as PowerPoint, you know that this word is available here, this class is available here actually. You see that this is only because in the tool reference we have activated the library, otherwise you will not be able to see that. Okay, so if you go to the object browser and you say that okay, I want to check the PowerPoint, you see PowerPoint is available, right? Otherwise this library never comes. So in the PowerPoint library, you see these are all the PowerPoint classes. Somebody who likes to learn the PowerPoint VBA, then those people basically go and check about, check these classes. They learn about these classes. Same way like you have all these libraries, and under these libraries you have different classes. Okay. Anyways, I just wanted to make sure that in case if somebody who doesn't have any background or who is not so perfect in VBA, so this actually session is very advanced, so I just wanted to give you the little bit of the introduction about these. Okay, so we always work with the classes of those applications like MS Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, or even database. So this is how we say my presentation actually should be equals to ppt.presentation add. Okay, now this way you see all these options, so we don't need to add anything. We will simply say that, I want just a presentation. Now I put the break code here, okay, and I hit on this case. I hit on this. Okay, let's see that what is going to happen. So the moment you run this, you see that we have got the PowerPoint again. This line, when I click, it should add the presentation. Wow, fantastic. Now this is what exactly we wanted it, guys. This is where now I can start adding the slides. Okay, so this is what exactly now we will do, and that we want to actually go and create our own object which will refer to a slide. So everything goes in a hierarchy, right? This is the biggest object, then the presentation in the slide. You cannot reverse this order, right? Like in Excel, you cannot refer to a cell without going to the sheet, and you cannot select a sheet if Excel is not open, the workbook is not open, So here you simply go and say that, okay, I have a slide, and that slide is going to be equals to my presentation. And on the presentation, what I do, I just want to add don't use the add slide, because when you press ADD, you get only add slide, but you don't get add, right? Now, due to some weird reasons, I do not know, maybe Microsoft did not work on this part, but you just go and use the add, add method. Don't use the add slide, just say that add, okay? And then here I say add 1, so don't write 3 here, as you know that the error will come. And this is where actually you have to set up the layout. Now you want this blank, or you want this chart, or you want this with the chart and the text. For example, if I say I want this with the chart and the text, then the slide which you will create, that will have a chart and the space for the text. Okay, just for your information. Look at this now. In the background you can see here, right? So it depends like what you want to do. For us, we will not actually go and use the chart and the text. I simply say that I have to add a layout as blank. Okay, so in this case, when I'm going to add the slide, let me see that if I can just go and say delete, and I can rerun this. Let's go and see that. Yeah, you see that we have got the slide, and this is perfect. Okay, so as I was telling you that if you try to write here 3, for example, thinking that you will have 3 slides, no, you are wrong, because this will try to create the third slide. Since we don't have the second slide, it's impossible. Okay, now you see, so far so good. We have been able to create our first slide, and on this slide now we basically want to bring our chart. Okay, now the next thing is that PowerPoint is okay, but now what you have to do, you have to go back to your that chart, right, which has a name called chart 1 or whatever, right? So we will try to copy this chart. Now how are we going to copy this chart? We will define our chart as, okay, so you will go and define your chart as demcst as chart object. Okay, this is the class which we use when we have to work with the existing charts, right? And there is another class which is called chart, just for information, which we actually use when we have to work with a new chart, a chart which you actually want to create. Since the chart is already created, so this is how we go and refer to the chart, that on the active sheet, chart objects, this is how you will write it. Okay, so chart 1. I know the chart is a complicated subject, but if you understand the chart hierarchy as well, the classes, you can create any type of a project. Trust me on that. So now the thing is that we have referred to this chart, okay, active sheet, because this is the sheet. Remember, you should be on the right sheet. Otherwise, please write the sheet name over there, sheets, and then in the double quotes, the sheet name. I'm just going to close this file. And now the thing is that once we know that where is our chart, we will simply go and say that copy the chart. The chart should get copied at this line. Now the next thing is that obviously you have to go and paste that on the slide. Okay, so for that, what I'm going to use, because we have already created a slide, right? And that always refers to the slide number 1. What we will do, we will say shapes, and then we will say paste special. And in the paste special, now you can use any of the format here. I'll simply use the bitmap. Okay, many of students will ask me, so can I also actually link this so that if the chart gets updated, in the PPT, it should also get updated, right? Well, yes, and here we have that option. You can use that also. So right now, guys, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run this quickly. Okay. So we have the chart copied, and now let's see that if we are able to paste the chart here or not, right? This is how the chart is pasted. Of course, the next question also comes, can I move this here? Can I move this here? Because I want here one chart here, second chart here. Yes, yes, we can do anything if your concepts are clear. We will talk about that, don't worry. Can I increase the height of the width? Of course you can do that. Yes, you can do that. Okay, but right now I will not go and talk about that thing. But yes, before I leave, I want to leave you with some another fascinating things, so that you should definitely go and get motivated that yes, you should learn the VBA. You see that the thing is, now what happens if, let's say, you by chance you see that I want to paste this in the second slide. Okay, let me simply go and delete this, actually cut this from me. So what happens if you have to do this on the second slide? This is the question, not on the first slide, right? Now you see that you can't write here that add to, because I give you the reason, right? So what we will do, we will simply go and copy this and paste this here, for example, like this. Since there are only two slides, so I can do this. If there are 50, 60, 100 slides, like I have created projects where more than 200, the graphs or the tables were required. People were making 200 slides and they used to take like 15 days for that. Okay, but through VBA you can do that in just 2 or 3 minutes. So the thing is that in that case we can run the loop and we can insert the slides if there are many slides. We don't have to write in this way, okay? Because writing this way for 50 slides is very clumsy process. But right now, because we have just 2 slides, I'm okay with this. The only difference here is now that you will not write here P slide. You will write a P slide 2, because P slide refers to the first slide. That's it. That's it. Okay. So the moment I run this code, I should be able to see first of all 2 slides, right? Wow, fantastic. And then the second slide actually should have this data pasted here, right? So I leave you with one question, that what if you have to paste 2 charts in 2 slides one by one? Okay, I'll just give you the hint. Write me in the comment section, and if you write something, I'll definitely respond you. Okay. So the hint is, well, you have already created 2 slides, right? You have defined one chart. Same way, define the second chart also, and then same way, copy that chart, and then same way, instead of using P slide 2, you should now use P slide as well, in addition to the P slide 2. Alright. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me in.